All right, next we have an ordinance, the municipal code amendments concerning the management of shopping carts. Arnaldo.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. Arnoldo Rodriguez, Development Services Department. This is the second reading of a proposed amendment to the city's municipal code, specifically pertaining to abandoned shopping carts in terms of the retrieval process and the collection process. You may recall that this item was first discussed at the November the 21st City Council meeting. So just for the benefit of both the council and community members here this evening, the city has historically taken somewhat of a laissez-faire approach in terms of a formal city council or planning commission policy regarding shopping carts. That's not to say that we've taken a laissez-faire approach to the collection of shopping carts, rather, again, a formal policy. This would memorialize an actual ordinance that would be adopted as part of the municipal code. So it obviously has more teeth considering it's the letter of the law. Historically, the city contracted with an independent shopping cart retrieval company here in town. We would contact them, they would drive around the city, they would collect the shopping cart, and then they would submit the bill to the city. Since the implementation of YC 311, we've received over 1,100 reports for shopping carts as of about an hour ago. So we do receive a lot of notices for shopping carts here at the city. And that does not include shopping carts that both city staff have collected or that the shopping cart retrieval company, as they drive around, so making their rounds, that doesn't include the shopping carts that they just naturally pick up as part of their daily routine. As a result, the city does expend a tremendous amount of both energy and time contacting stores, storing of the shopping carts, emailing stores, trying to get them to encourage them to collect their shopping carts. We have had mixed results. Some stores are receptive, some stores not so much. The other part of that too is that it's somewhat challenging at times to schedule appropriate times for all the parties to meet at the city's wastewater treatment plant, which is where we store our carts, to make sure that they're retrieved properly. And just locally here, in terms of scope, approximately 38 stores provide shopping carts to their customers. We've reached out to all 38 of them, both at the local level and at the corporate level, informing them of, we've had a community meeting. We reached out to the Chamber of Commerce where we met with their subcommittee, and then we also had the first hearing, and they had been notified of the first hearing. This is just a photo of some of the shopping carts. This photo is a little dated because obviously you can tell it's sunny. However, at any given time, if you were to go out there, we probably have between 200 and 500 shopping carts at any given time. So we do have a rather large collection of shopping carts. Some of them are in great condition. Some of them are relatively poor condition, broken wheels, they're broken. They've been chopped up into barbecue grills and some other things. And then a good number of them do have trash. So we did do a public outreach meeting here in the council chambers back in October. We reached out to the California Grocers Association. We published this notice in the newspaper, and we've mailed notices to local stores and their corporate headquarters advising them of the upcoming or of the draft ordinance. We had a total of 2 stores come to our local meeting, and we've had 1 store subsequent to that contact us for an update. Just really quickly, the ordinance itself does require that stores submit an abandoned shopping cart prevention program. That program outlines prevention measures that they're going to take, and then it also outlines who's required to submit when, the timing of that, and then it also articulates the consequences of lack of compliance with their plan. At the same time, we've also built into the program where either the city or the store, due to change of circumstances, we have the option of amending the plan at no cost to the store, because again, our goal is not to generate revenue. Our goal is to get out of the shopping cart business as a city. So a couple of changes since the last city council meeting at the direction of council. The red highlighted 90 number was initially 75. At the last meeting, there was some discussion about stores that provided 90 or less shopping carts to their customers. Can they collect their own shopping carts? And again, that number was initially 75. After some discussion, we increased it to 90. In terms of what's the difference between 90 and fewer carts or 90 or more carts, in terms of the actual collection process, timing, it's the same. The nuance there is that stores that provide 90 or less carts have the opportunity to retrieve their own shopping carts. If you have 90 or more carts, or 91 or more carts, the goal is that they would have to into a contract with a third-party shopping retrieval company, and then that would ensure that we have a point of contact. So whenever we contact them, that those carts are retrieved within 24 hours. Failure to comply was another discussion point at the last city council meeting. It would be a $50 civil penalty per day. However, we also added the underlying language there, which reads in excess of 3 non-compliance occurrences during a rolling 6-month period. And again, the goal being that we're not trying to punish anyone, rather the goal is to encourage people to simply retrieve their new shopping carts. If you're a brand new store here locally, we do have some mandatory measures which automatically require that if you have 10 or more shopping carts, that you have the locking mechanisms. The new Smart and Final that's going to open tomorrow, so after some discussions, they actually agreed to that. So that's going to be a very good example. And there are a couple of local stores here that already provided that for their customers to ensure that their customers don't leave the premises. And if it's 9 or fewer carts, there's no mandatory contract. However, at the end of the day, we still like that they collect their own shopping carts, but typically smaller stores are a little more protective of their shopping carts. So with that being said, our recommendation this evening is to adopt the ordinance as presented and to waive the second reading.
All right, great, thank you. All right, back with City Council. Any questions or a motion?
Through the mayor.
Yes.
Just a couple of comments, and my apology to Arnaldo and his crew, because since the last meeting to now, I went back on my YC311 app and counted up how many shopping carts I reported just in a 2.5 mile path that I traveled daily, with the exception of Mondays. I have 30 reported carts. Now here comes kind of the rub to this. Most of those are collected in one general area of the city, location that assists our homeless population. And at any given day, there are 2 to 3 carts being dropped off at that location and being left to roll in winds, high winds, into the roadway to obstruct vehicles passing by, or to strike those carts, causing damage, or to park vehicles that are in the adjacent parking spaces out on the street. At some point, we are going to need to work with groups that draw these carts to them, and certainly look at what we can do to persuade them to become an active member in getting these carts returned, because they are undoubtedly one of the big problems.
Any other comments? Motion?
I'll move to approve. Staff recommendation.
Okay, do we have a second?
Did you hear that?
You got that? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay, motion approved.